pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Well, meeting in order, January, huh?
Hey, Brian.
Oh, 12th, 2014. I got the pledge done, so I guess we can move on. Any public comment?
I do have one thing. I would sure like to have a moment of silence for the people in Paris, that they've been through.
You bet you want to do that right now?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. A moment of silence for all the people in Paris. Yeah, that was a sad deal.
Oh, man.
Kind of wakes you up again, you know what?
Makes us
can
wonder
happen?
when it's gonna get past again.
Mhm.
Come on, I think
Okay. Back on public comment, any comment? Can't hear me, Joan? Any,
Yeah, here.
got any comment? Okay. Don't want to hear me. Okay, well, why don't we, I guess Lori's gonna be here for a half hour or so.
Right, she's at the legislature this morning.
So, I guess we could go ahead and start with Brian Hone, Solid Waste, a monthly update.
Morning.
Question for you. How'd the wrestling team do?
They did pretty well. Winning. It was the first time we'd ever gone up to Cut Bank to their tournament. They'd held that tournament for 47 years,
Oh, gracious.
and we finished in 9th place. We had 4 kids place. No first, but we had 3 seconds and a 6th. So
Very good.
it was a good weekend.
And the basketball team both won this weekend.
I wouldn't know about that.
I would. Grandmas always do.
I don't follow basketball. So. Since I've been here last month, we've maintained pretty well, just trying to keep people healthy. We've had some sickness and some injury-related stuff, but not work-related injuries, but just people getting old.
I
And
can relate to that one.
we're keeping our head above water. Short-handed the week after Christmas. I was a one-man shop for the week, which was hectic, but we got her through. Didn't get too far behind. Got everything hauled where it needed to be hauled, and all the equipment's running so far.
Good.
I still haven't got a repair bill for fixing our loader. I don't know why they're taking so long getting that out. Usually they're pretty prompt, but
Where was that taken to?
T&E and Helen did
Okay.
work. I don't know what that's cost us, but I do have my eyes open for a replacement loader, shopping around, seeing what's out there.
Good.
And really, that's about it, just maintaining. Any questions?
I don't.
No, me either.
Seems like once Christmas gets over with, the trash slows down quite a bit.
Yeah,
And,
sure.
we just keep things rolling. It's a good time of year to get things fixed.
It is.
All right.
Exactly.
So that's about all I got.
Okay, well, thank you.
You bet.
I have a question for you. Where are we on canisters? Are we needing more, or are we okay?
I've got a couple extras for cardboard coming. They
Uh-huh.
should be here hopefully by the end of the month. That'll let us put canister for cardboard at Raidersburg and one at Toston. And then we will good shape otherwise. with
What is down
40
here
yard
for
cans.
canister for cardboard?
We've got two 20-yard cans in town.
Okay,
We've got one at Winston, and we'll have one at Toston, one at Raidersburg.
okay. And dry gulches,
Dry Gulch, we don't see that much cardboard there. I think people that are out there bring their cardboard to town, and that works pretty well.
that's what we've done. You're coming to town?
We did ship out 2 truckloads of cardboard right before Christmas. Or no, it was right before Christmas. We had, I think, I want to say 72,000 pounds of cardboard that we shipped out.
That's a lot.
Works out about, it was 83 bales, and we had about a 940 pound average weight on the bales.
What is the size of those bales?
They are about 2 feet wide, 4 feet. 2 by 4 by 5, or maybe by 4. Probably 4, because you can put 2 of them on a trailer, stacked up. But we shipped them to Great Falls, they rebale everything there.
Oh, really?
Their baler makes a bale that's about 1,400 pounds. So they rebale everything they get and ship it off to the mill from there.
Hmm. Where does it go? What mill?
Where do they send theirs? I think it's in Utah they go to. Price of cardboard is down right now because the longshoremen in California were on strike. So they weren't loading any on ships to go to China. They weren't loading anything on any ships to go to China. And so that backs up the mills in the US, the price is down. Supply and demand, it's a commodity market, so I think we only got $30 a ton of this cardboard, which is about the same price it would cost us to landfill it. But I think we made $1.
All right.
$1 a ton.
Don't spend it all in one place.
Yeah. And that's about it.
Very good.
Still looking for people on the solid waste board. Got a couple openings. If anybody wants to be on it, just let us know.
Not getting any response.
No. We did pick up one member,
Oh, okay.
so we got, I think, one opening now.
Who did you pick up?
Our former county attorney.
Oh,
She says, I'll be in for both. So
oh, good.
I think Nicole will be up at the end of the month with those things, so. Nothing else. We'll be on
Okay.
our way.
Well, thank you.
All right,
Thanks.
thanks. Have a good week.
You too.
Tyler,
I got mail.
mail here, yeah. I guess
Well, the minutes are sitting there too.
let's get those first. These are December 29th and January 5th.
I'll move that we approve the minutes, January 29th and January 5th.
Okay, I'll second it. Moving second, so it has passed. Accept the minutes. 5th and 29th
No,
December.
I think you have to sign them.
You should just sign that one, I guess.
Your kids must have had it made when they're in school if they wanted to skip away because your signature's so easy to copy.
Faster and faster. And it's always saying, with school board over here, you always have a bunch of claims to sign, warrants, I mean.
Uh-huh.
And so you can see through the years, it kept getting a little faster, a little faster. But I can't get it any faster, I don't think, unless I do a Chuck Hawley one.
Oh, yeah,
Okay, let's see what we
when
got.
I was election advisor in our state, it was interesting to look at the different signatures. I mean, there's some that there's no way you could replicate it, you know?
Yeah. Prices on the school fund accounts. Oh, this is their postage. This one comes right to you, I guess, here. You probably get one of these, don't you?
I do at the ranch.
Yeah. And this is the one, I think it's over their spot over there. This is just a. Is that, should work with Virginia there?
Yeah, I think it's somebody out of MSU. That's what it is, just reporting how many sick leave and
Mm-hmm.
vacation time.
But this is due right to you there for the PSI. Oh, what should there? This is that, you remember that bill from the BLM? It was sent to the sheriff's office, I guess. This is for the towers up there.
Oh, yes.
And it's due, I think, within a day or two. Now, on this, where they don't have a claim filled out, unless there's one in this place, what do we do on that? Do we just?
Send it back and tell them.
Tell them to send a claim? And we'll wait and see if there's one in there, I guess. So,
Okay.
well, maybe this might be it here, let's see. This is the same thing here. I don't know who this is from. This is from Brenda here, it says, I don't know who's wrote that one.
You know, I don't think we've ever had a bill for internet or but at the tower. Do you remember it?
I just don't know on that. Might wanna check into that.
Yeah, we better
Okay,
check into that.
have Debbie, I guess,
Yeah,
contacted me. This is, up to you there. What is it from the Public Service Commission for Bull Mountain, so, it is a help. Doesn't pertain to us, I mean, we don't get it there.
for you all, the information is from Public Service Commission. It's a notice of application for operating authority for Bull Mountain Sanitation LLC and Michael Spreadberry doing business as Helena Town Car Company. Does not affect anybody here at all, but if you know somebody there, you might let them know. Bull Mountain Sanitation is actually at Millstone. I'll make a motion, we make pay claims, $19,387.82.
I'll second that. Move to second, pay claims for $19,000. What cents, dollars worth?
387.82. I think you should take a vote on it.
Well, move to second, so,
Right, but,
okay, vote. Go ahead and vote.
aye.
I also. This is just, I don't know how come this wasn't in the regular claims. From Railroad Ford fixing door handle. Or maybe it was last time we didn't.
This is for the fusion.
Is that what it's for? Well, that's why I come right here then.
Yep. I think, I'll say it. He already did, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in the stack.
Here's from the Rubber Food Pantry. Apparently they got a donation of, oh, this was the pill donation, $3,000.
Would you read it, please?
What's that?
Would you read it out loud for us all, please?
Dear Broadwater County Insurance, on behalf of the Board of Broadwater Food Pantry, we would like to thank you for your generous donation of $3,000. The Broadwater Food Pantry is affiliated with the Broadwater County Social Service Committee, a 501c3 organization, and your gift is deductible to the full extent of the law. We also affirm that neither goods nor services were provided in return for this donation. Signed by Don Thompson, treasurer of the food pantry.
That's very nice. Did you get one of these too?
Was that there? Yeah.
We used to get them all the time,
I think it was the other day.
and then we didn't. Is there one of these in there also, in our stack of mail
Which is that,
from DNRC?
I haven't come across it yet.
Okay.
What were you?
It's Deshaun Higley. Regarding Deep Creek Watershed Restoration Plan.
No. That's yours. There. You, one, I already picked mine up.
We better read this one out loud then, because it's on the Deep Creek Watershed Restoration. Read it into the minutes.
Okay, it's from Sean Higley, this is on that Deep Creek Watershed Restoration Plan. Dear Sean, thank you for your recent submittal. I have read both the phase one assessment report and the hydrology and hydraulics analyst report. Given the information provided with regards to previous studies that have been performed over the past several years, I'd recommend a little more clarification as to how these reports coincide, as it's confusing to me. What is the overall schedule and budget for the project, and how will these reports be used? Additionally, what is the status of the public meetings that are included in the scope of work for the RGL grant? The report focuses on specific properties that have been impacted by previous flood events. Is the intent for the project to alleviate only these, or is it to look at the overall condition of the watershed and recommend improvements in repair, management, fisheries, habitat, and other areas? From a renewable resource program perspective, I would recommend the latter as opposed to simply fixing problems. I believe this is all taken care of in that report that, quarterly report that, see, Mike wasn't the DES there for that.
Okay.
I believe, because he mentioned I'll finish this. The report explains that the methodology and includes the data from computer modeling that will supposedly be used to design a project to mitigate impacts identified in the phase one assessment. How specifically will the information be used? I think this should be explained in the report's introduction to inform the reader of this purpose. These are only suggestions. I would be interested in seeing the comments received from NRCS. Also for files, please respond to these commitments. A specific concern is where these reports fit in the project scope. What does the total project look like, and what is the schedule for project? Broadwater County may request up to 100% of its RRGL planning grant at this time, along with applicable cost, documentation, electronic copies of each report being funded by RRGL grant RPG 14-0385, and in response to this correspondence. I think I should give that to Mike. Is that in an envelope or?
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Was that to Sean or from Sean?
To Sean.
Okay, from the DNRC.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, what did I have? Oh, this is what I had in my hand here. This is the letter that was sent, I think we read it last week or went through it, from the Attorney General Tim Fox over congratulating Corey as being our county attorney. And he's still gonna have to testify on some cases for the state through the year, but he's told me that there wouldn't be no expense to Broward County when he has to go on the 80s and things like that. Or do you want to look at the same one we had last week? I think the same record we just read. This is the part I'm gonna go to. Mike.
Franklin, I need that down here.
Because she needs to put a copy in the minutes.
Oh,
In the minutes. Could you make a copy and put that in Mike's box, please? Okay.
okay, you gonna put it in his box then? Okay, good, I'm just gonna write that down to do that, so. They're just through, Forest Service, you're going stuff sent electronically.
You need to get online and respond to one of these, otherwise we're not gonna get any paperwork.
And this is from DEQ, and it's a wastewater discharge permit, and it's for the city of Three Forks. County Galton. So that doesn't pertain to us, anybody wants to look at it, have any comments on it? This is just, you probably got this from Vigilante, they're changing the meter, so there's gonna be some fluctuation of power going off different times. These are the,
Health board,
right,
next week.
shows it advertised in there. See, start. There's another agenda, there's 2 more copies of the agenda, if you want a copy of that, let's give it to you.
I've already got one.
Okay. I guess that's all the mail. We still got some more time, you might as well start.
Going through claims.
Yeah,
Have you been through them all?
I haven't went through any of them yet. No. I guess in this interim, if there's any public comment, we can take it also now.
Go ahead, and I'll follow.
Okay. Get this shit out of the way. Oh, yeah, this is the
answer me is, on resurfacing of the Durangos, one says that it's good down to 20 below, one says 35 below, and one says 30 below. Why are they not all the same?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not a mechanic, so,
What one, were they taken at different times, or?
well, they're all in the same pile. They're all in December. It just looks to me like they should all be the same.
Pretty close, yeah. That 30 and 35, I could see with the 20.
And it gets colder than that here.
Yeah, unless they added, after they checked the 20, they added to it.
I don't know.
Brought it up to the
Good. first of the month.
Yeah. So, we're gonna look at the schedule there, so
Okay,
that'll be pretty quick.
okay.
I have a question for you, Joe. This Helmet Inc. one come- is that one of those refills or
Yeah.
do they
But you
work
know,
for you?
we've tried them before in, my husband and I, and it was a disaster with another company. But Virginia Nerve recommended these guys, and so I've already used one of their cartridges, and it works great. I mean, it's not messy, it hasn't, yeah, so I ordered another one from them. And, you know, they run about $20 to $25 cheaper than, you know,
That's
ordering
good-
it. Yeah,
Good savings.
it is, it is. So
Oh,
I was
wondered about
impressed.
that.
I was
It's a
skeptical
match.
after the first experience we had. I mean, toner went everywhere, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is that the one on 11th Avenue?
Yes,
Yeah.
yep, very convenient.
Oh, yeah.
And if you just call them up, if they've got a toner, because it has to go in the same color.
Mhm.
If they've got a cartridge there, they'll just refill it and you can pick it up. You don't have to necessarily bring your own cartridge back there if they've got one there. Can I borrow your pen for a minute?
Sure.
An extra one?
Oh, yeah.
Just want everybody to sign it's here, it's for health meeting. Mr. Chairman. If you could, This is just set up for me for health, public hearings. Just need to know who's here. It just says that we're in attendance at this public health public hearing that we're gonna have at 10:45. It's on our septic regulations. It's a public hearing. Do this and the public hearing. Commissioners. And you're signing just to say that you're gonna be in attendance at the Board of Health meeting for our revisions to our septic regulations. we're gonna have this kind of in the middle of the commissioner's meeting. Just saying that you're in attendance. So if we have any comments, I don't know who they came from.
Okay, we're,
Just pass it out.
Stop there.
yeah, so, okay, we're close enough on the agenda now. Usually,
Go ahead, Marge, and open the meeting, call the meeting to order, the public hearing to order.
you now have a public meeting, board and county sanitary. You wanna go ahead and
The
present?
meeting has now come to order. And it's to revise or to approve of the revision of the septic regulations.
Not to approve, it's just to have a public hearing to take public comment, public or written comment on regulations.
Are there changes to the regulations?
They are. In October of 2013, DEQ adopted a new circular, and that's guidance for the counties. So the counties upgrade their regulations based on the DEQ circular, and that was revised last October. It was a long time in coming. They started in 2011 and never got around to adopting it until last fall. So that's what this is. It's on file in the clerk and recorder's office there, and then I also can electronically send it out if anybody's interested. It does not, we have not raised any of the fees. They remain the same as what they were. Basically, it's just meeting the changes that were made by DEQ. So there are some new systems, some wastewater treatment systems out there that we address in here. There were some changes to the use of holding tanks. It used to be they could only be used on government properties, facilities. So that part of this has changed, that without a variance, I should say. But other than that, like I said, there isn't anything unusual in here. It's strictly is taken out of DEQ, and so they have not been upgraded. The last ones were adopted in 2010. So, and the reason we're supposed to upgrade them every 2 years, but DEQ was slow getting their revisions made, so it took us that time to get them upgraded too. So, any questions for me? Like I said, there's no changes in certification for installers, no increase in permit fees, groundwater monitoring, anything like that, so.
What would be the big change?
Well, some of the rules, the administrative rules have changed, so it references those new numbers in here. So they're not referencing outdated administrative rules. There are some things that just, some new definitions that were added, and those are based on the new systems that DEQ is now covering. They're not, before they were considered experimental systems, but now, and it costs you more for a permit for an experimental system. Now they've been in use for a while, so they're no longer experimental, but we have new alternative systems that have come in. So they're always upgrading with technology. Something that's included in here too is now DEQ has put in their rules that they will be regulating marine facilities, marine discharge facilities, because it is, actually the legislature put that into the code in, I think, 2000, that they were supposed to regulate marine discharge facilities. That's for boats and stuff on the lake or on the river. And apparently DEQ never got the message on that because it's never done. So here now, over 10 years later, they're finally implementing that. So there's just a brief reference in here because they have not gotten everything changed at the state level. So I just put a chapter in here and reference whatever happened to be in DEQ. So I was hoping for more detail on it, but we probably aren't gonna have too many new marine facilities be going in.
How many facilities do we have?
Well, there will be one, at Goose Bay Marina. That's the only one so far. We don't have any down at the silos here, but that may be something that does go in because, I mean, I think it would be convenient and, you know, people probably would use it if it was there rather than, you know, just discharging into the lake. I don't know how many boats out there, you know, have holding facilities in the boat, but I'm sure there are a few. You know, and then Kim's Marina, of course, has facilities down there, I think, for discharging, but now they're gonna be actually regulated and permitted and stuff, so we know exactly
But
what's.
Kim's would be in Lewis and Clark County.
Right, right, so the only one that we would have is Goose Bay Marina and, you know, potentially down the road, the silos. Okay, so, really, a lot of it is, like I said, just addressing things, high-strength wastewater, where we didn't address, commercial facilities, now they actually list them out. You know, what's considered possible high-strength waste, which requires extra treatment beyond what we do for residential. So
What is considered?
high-strength waste, anything that has 300 milligrams or greater of BOD, which is biological oxygen demand, total suspended solids less than or equal to 150 milligrams per liter, and then fats, oils, and grease, or what we refer to as FOGs, has to be less than or equal to 25 milligrams per liter. Anything greater than that is considered high-strength wastewater, I should say. Okay, so that was in our other regulations. It's just that they went through and actually identified some things, veterinaries, tanneries, you know, funeral homes. It just kind of goes through and gives a little more detail on that. It wasn't very clear in the old regulations, so anyway. But these are downstairs in the clerk and recorder's office if you want to review them, or if anybody's interested in an electronic copy, I'm happy to email it out to you. And these have been provided to our septic installers for their review too, and I haven't gotten any comments back, so. They're usually concerned about their certification and the permit fees, and other than that, they pretty much have to go along with what's in the regulations, and nobody commented on that, so.
So
And the fees
basically,
didn't change?
Pardon me?
The fees did not change?
No, they're the same as they were.
and so basically for the average homeowners, everything's pretty much the same.
Pretty much the same, yeah.
So, they're aware of that.
They just looked at, you know, putting more information about what used to be experimental systems in that now are more regular use. And Franklin, as a former installer, he understands all that stuff, and, yeah.
So, no public comment on it. Have any questions for Julie while she's here? Go ahead.
Roger Halbert. I know the Hill in the Valley is having terrible problems with old septic tanks and the houses built so close together. Are we having any problems like that in this county?
No.
Have we had any major problems with
No,
septic
we haven't,
tanks?
I mean, we haven't done sampling like what they have, but for the most part, our soils are not that really coarse sand and gravel. We have a pretty good layer of either sandy loam or silt loam. And then actually, when you get down to about 8 feet, like out in the silos area, you get down to about 8 feet, and there is a, you know, like a 1 foot or so a layer of clay. So that acts as a barrier too. Now, one of the subdivisions out there, Prairie Night subdivision, that's on the north end of the silos development out there, they do require level 2 treatment, and that is because the close proximity to the lake, and then, you know, density is increasing out there. And they have multiple lots, and so they do a cumulative effect of septic systems. And you're not allowed to degrade state waters, and of course, any surface water is considered state water. And so because of that, the front 2 lots that are nearest the lake don't have to have level 2 treatment, because there's no cumulative effect from them, but the ones farther to the west do. And of course, a level 2 treatment system used to run about $20,000. And you're hooked up to a computer in case something fails, the company knows and comes out. So there's kind of a maintenance contract with that price tag. They've come down to about around 14,000 maybe now. They're becoming more common in other counties. We've only got a couple up here in Broadwater County. But they do reduce nitrates, which is the main concern when it comes to degrading state water. So most of our groundwater concerns are south of Townsend, and they're ag-related. They're more related to, you know, cattle production and fertilizers and that type of thing. They're not related to development, because we just don't have the density, the high density.
What is the nitrate level now that's allowable?
10 milligrams per liter.
Was that changed recently because, okay.
No, when they figure non-degradation, what they look for is they typically like to see no more than 5 milligrams per liter at the end of a mixing zone. In some cases where there are higher background nitrates, they'll go up to 7.5 milligrams per liter. They typically require pressure dose systems at that point. And then beyond that, you know, they require level 2 treatment if it gets, you know, the maximum is 10. In some areas where we have background nitrates as high as 13 milligrams per liter, they exceed that standard. And so at that point, they say, no, you cannot put a septic system in.
We don't have any feedlots in this county, do
Well, we have Headwaters Livestock down in the south end of the county. And then we have Leap's Dairy, which is considered a high animal concentration. You know, it's not a public feedlot, but it's a dairy with, I think, over 600 cows, and so it's called high concentration animal feeding operation. And, you know, they had to put lagoons in and meet certain requirements for their feeding operation.
we? Okay.
That's something that's regulated by DEQ, not by my office.
Thank you.
So they had to put a lagoon in out at the dairy?
Yeah, for treating their animal waste. Yeah, for their, you know, the homes and the office and those types of things, they all have a septic system, standard septic system.
Now, is there still some time for public comment and stuff?
Yes, there is, until next meeting, the Board of Health meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, so we'll be taking written and comment then. So if you've got anything you wanna tell me or come in and visit about, you know, feel free to. It doesn't have to be public.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'll just take notes
But I
and-
just want to make sure that everybody knew that there was still some time.
Yep, there is. They won't be voted on until our next Board of Health meeting, which is next Tuesday, January 20th. So we'll take public comment up until that time, but this is formality, we have to have a public hearing.
Any other comments or questions? And I guess this is, I don't know what to say.
The public comment period.
This is the end of the public comment period, but
Public hearing is now closed.
the public hearing is now closed.
Okay, good enough. Okay.
Well, thank you.
Oops, there's your pen back.
Oh,
Thanks, ladies.
Thanks for coming.
Now it's time for the public hearing on any of these resolutions. Do we have a copy of the resolutions?
I don't, are they in the stack of stuff?
Oh, here.
Oh, that's Board of Health, that one.
Okay, this one, we already went over the resolution for the 1% building loan and the commissioner meeting days, and the commissioner office hours.
But now we have to make the motion to approve those,
Yes,
each individually.
okay.
Commissioner Slivka, do you actually have copies of the resolutions?
Well, I don't know. I don't think I have them. I know we discussed it in the last meeting. I must admit, I was looking at some of what I picked up here today. No, because it wouldn't be in this. No, that's just the rest for the agenda. And that's where these copies were for this. At least at this point, until we have the resolutions just stayed out in front. I kind of remember what they are, but that ain't good enough.
No. We need to have the actual resolutions here in front of us.
These are all just claims here. Wait a minute, it's just right here. Well, I would say we'll maybe listen till we get a copy of the resolutions to have.
I
You know?
think so.
There's nothing else on that. Is there? Guess we have two checks here. A COS review, otherwise,
Well, and she'll come in
Yeah.
if she has any COSs for review.
yeah, so at this point, we're, might as well go back through some of the, this is public comment for anything at this point. I don't think there is, right, Ben? So we'll go ahead with these, rest of these claims here.
You're not signing these, are you?
No, I was about halfway through, so I'm gonna have to go back through and sign.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought of that after I was already, would start on. We're still about 15 minutes ahead of schedule.
Very good.
Here's another vet bill, $4,000.
What is it for this time?
There's a gray cloud, must be a mare, or, well, see, I'm trying to figure out first. X-ray, examination, physical.
And for one mare, it's $4,000?
No, it's 1,000, but I can't, I'm just gonna, this is, they got names for the different horses. That one's $246. Get some shots, some x-rays, and here's one evidently got a cut, laceration repair, 150. Another one here is, we got a cast on one of them.
I haven't heard.
It looks like this is a cast application. Cast removal.
I think we need to get a report of where we're at
And
with
then
that.
a horse out there, worth that.
Well, maybe my memory isn't correct, but I thought they were gonna come once a month or something to bring us up to date what was going on.
We're just talk about some of these bills that keep coming in on these horses. It's just out of hand. This is never, oh, just completely out of hand. No way we're gonna, I think that we're gonna be able to recoup it.
No,
We're probably in, I've heard 100,000.
I wouldn't be surprised.
A bunch of horses. I never looked at any, but most of them were just canters. Some should have been put down to start off with. But anyway,
I think they had to keep them for evidence,
Well,
that's what I
yeah,
was told.
I could see maybe for a short period, but it just, got out of hand there. Maybe it should have been done more the way I feel. Did you ever handle it?
Franklin, can you talk to the county attorney about the various counts against that person? To see if some of the lesser counts can be dropped and those animals can be sold off if you're keeping them as evidence?
Well, I think that would have all been done long time ago, but it wasn't, and it just got out of hand. We have a county attorney now, and he'll start working on it. I'm pretty sure he's got such a backlog and stuff, it's gonna be, but I think it's gonna have to be a priority for him. As far as the county's concerned.
What's this costing us per month for these horses?
There are different bills coming in. This was a vet bill for $1,000, there's a vet bill up to, I think, $3,000, their pasture and feed, thousands of dollars. Mileage for the volunteers going out there, that were feeding them and stuff. It just,
Here's watering supplies for the horses.
yeah, that wasn't much there, but I mean,
$230 though.
well, so does search and rescue, plywood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think that went there. I think they just put them on the backside here, see, they put it on the backside here. See, Roger picked up some plywood, I think that's for the search and rescue building, and these other two, I think, for the horses there.
I can't even read that signature. Who's 43-6?
That's Dusty Anderson.
Okay.
So have they ever caught this other guy that took off?
No, apparently not.
The last I heard, he was in Texas. They thought he was in Texas.
I don't know.
You can get Bin Laden, but they can't get him, huh?
But, you game, all they do is they get sentenced on this, the judge probably sent for restitution, and, I don't know, chances are he doesn't have anything, would be my guess, so I don't know,
I've been told he does.
is that right? Oh, yeah, go ahead. Okay.
Do you want
Maybe I didn't see that when I was sitting here when I started talking there. Oh, yeah, this is,
If they're holding these for evidence for anything, they're not gonna look the same as they do.
no, no.
Not at all.
Not at all, yeah.
That's
Where are they being pastured?
different places. They were buying hay. I think there's still a couple at the fairgrounds, isn't there?
I think so.
They had them all there for a while, and the different ones that pastured them out. feeding them. That's where these claims have been coming in. It's completely out of hand.
You know, those resolutions that we don't have,
Yeah.
I think it's up to the chairman. Pull one of last year's resolutions and write it, or type it, whatever, prepare it.
I can check on it, see.
The copies of those resolutions would be in Ann's office, back in the cans there. Isn't that correct?
Check. apparently we don't have any COSs.
No.
And the next one isn't. That was the reason we're still in a holding pattern. We talked about it in a meeting, 2 meetings before or so, on having a secretary for the commission. And that day we talked about, you kind of give me some ideas like agenda, letter writing. Oh, I got them all written down somewhere.
Resolutions.
Yeah, and we still was figuring part-time. Now I checked and I got some, Debbie, there's those application forms for hire, you know. Should we just use one of those, or should we just put a deal of paper like, I think it's click record, I just had that here a while back. It
But
wouldn't
they
have-
need to come and fill out an application though.
Right, but I mean, this would be noticed that there is,
Mhm.
looking for that. Someone to fill a particular job, and then as far as, if they're interested, when they come in, get their application, and then we could have the job description with that.
Mhm.
Does that sound right?
Mhm. Some of them might want the job description when they first come in to pick the app up,
Okay.
before they fill it out, because want to see what does the job entail
Mhm, mhm.
before they fill out. I just got a question back here.
Right.
It's been my experience as a supervisor that you've gotta have the PD, the position description, before you open the job. And the PD should be reviewed by the commissioners too, to see if if it correctly fills what you want that person to do.
Michelle would be able to help with the job
That's
description.
what I was wondering, or should just, we just get together and just do it, or at least have it, and then ask her, refer it to her then.
Yeah, write down, here's the things we're expecting,
Mhm.
and here's what it would entail. And she would have job descriptions, because if we're working with Mako, they always have all the job descriptions.
I think this, what I picked up from Debbie is what Mako, she got from Mako. I guess I could work with Debbie on it too. You want to help with me on it?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Frank, most of the jobs that are for government and stuff, they've got the job or job deal duties right on, in the advertisement. You know, like they want a secretary for this, that, or, you know, what their job mostly is gonna be. And then the people that are interested or that are educated enough to do it, go for it.
Yeah, I didn't recall if those were on the notice in the paper, if you had the job description on there. I thought,
I don't believe so.
yeah, just that, we're taking applications for such and such work. And it'd be and for the follow-up on it, we come and get a job application, job description would be there then.
I've got to be in Helena tomorrow, but I could get together with you Wednesday, and we could draft something out.
Maybe, okay. I'll get back with you. I think that'll work.
Okay, let me know on what time.
Okay. Didn't take too long. I got those written down, the things to talk about, letter writing, agenda. But we need, I mean, Lori getting filed up here on stuff, and then, oh, that'd be another thing, they'd have the mail,
Mhm.
take care of the mail.
And filing.
Right. Do we have to figure an amount of time, go like 20 hours, or, I guess we discuss that when we do it on Wednesday. what's your kind of idea on time? Do you think 20 hours is gonna be enough for them?
I would think so. What do you think, Ann? It's such an unknown.
I guess if you'd have it 20/30 hours.
I don't think it'll take 30.
I wouldn't think so. There'd probably be times that it would,
Mhm.
but there's also gonna be times when there isn't gonna be much.
If that person would work half days, that would be good.
Definitely on Monday for the meetings,
And Wednesday if we're meeting.
if there, yeah, there's a meeting, and then, probably wouldn't have to be in every day, but, at least 3 times a week.
Mhm.
And then, same thing, could be 4 hours, could be 2, it's gonna be, and I guess if there isn't a, there we can always have, there's some other things that person could fall into, do some filing or things like that. Right?
And that would be part of the job to do the filing.
But I mean, it had to be anything done for anything else in
Mm.
for county stuff.
No. I think it would be.
Just strictly commissioners. Okay.
Mhm. And therefore, with it being 20 hours, we don't have to give them insurance.
What do you, at this point, think like for a rate? I think what most will start at 16 an hour?
I don't think they are they, Ann?
I go get 16.
Right.
Oh, another thing we want on there is some budget experience. Would be great. I mean, I guess it wouldn't be required, but budget experience would really be.
Right. You're talking about a secretary, but yet you're asking for budget experience. A secretarial position doesn't have any budget experience.
Some do, it'd be great if somebody had some budget, like I say, it wouldn't be required, but it'd be great if they had budget experience.
But that's what we've got Debbie for, is to do the budget.
Okay.
And you as chairman will be working with her on that.
So budget experience would be a,
$20 a week isn't very much if you figure doing the whole meetings. On Wednesday, you've got 8 hours tied up right there,
you mean on Mondays?
or on Monday, yeah. And then Wednesday, if they have a meeting again Wednesday, you're not looking at very much time for her to be filing and doing all this other stuff, if she's gotta be at these meetings.
I don't think she'd have to be at the meeting, sir. Because we've got Ann does a great job on our minutes.
Yeah, well, that's,
Other than, especially the Monday meeting, so she'd know what's going on, you know, through the discussion and public comments and all that. Well, I think it worked out, the thing is, it's, getting the job description worded the way we want it, don't you think?
Mhm. Do you have Michelle's phone number?
I might, I think I do. If I could get it from Debbie.
Okay. Because if she could email a job description to us, then that'll give us something to start with and cut and paste.
I think I got those in here. This is the application they would fill out here. We can go through this a little bit here also. Okay, 11:30. Doug Ellis, treasurer, Barb and Levi is, Barb's gonna make it or just you? Okay, yeah, come on up.
Actually, I did a couple things, a couple different things. They were, I think they're both on there, but they're not the same thing.
Right, yeah.
But Levi, what happened on his tax property, and I think it was just a typo in the Department of Revenue. He went from 2 acres to 8 acres on his tax bill.
And you own
And-
too?
They just thought he needed more land, I guess. But they will only go back a year, so they corrected the 2014 bill and made a difference. They just put all of the refund on his second half, and it dropped it by about $93.50 for the entire year. But it's been going on since 2012. So Levi, I think, deserved a refund for 2012 and 2013. It was just I'm sure a typo from the Department of Revenue. I went over and talked to them to say, where did this 6 acres go? Where'd it come from and where'd it go? And they said, well, it never was there. It was just a typographical error. So it's not that he got billed somebody else's taxes. They just decided to give him 6 pieces of air, 6 acres of air, I guess.
Tell them you want to build a new house on that acreage. See what they say.
So anyway, it's gonna amount to about probably $186 or so. I called Black Mountain, they said there's no way to figure the total until we actually go in and do it. But I assume it'll be pretty close to what 2014 was.
I'd make a motion that we do a refund.
College for you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. You betcha.
You go ahead, get some more to say, Doug.
Well, yeah, I've got, the next one I've got, this is a totally different
Oh,
thing.
let's
so I
finish
don't
this
know
one
if you
here
wanna
first,
vote
yeah.
on it
This
different.
one says 2 acres right here.
Yeah, that's the corrected bill.
Oh,
That's
okay.
the corrected bill. They had 8 acres on there. And when they corrected it down to 2, it, here, did I not, maybe I didn't copy the second page. This one shows where he had 8 acres.
Okay.
And it was just a typo on there. Yeah, I probably just copied the front page and I copied those
Okay.
this morning.
Did you make a motion, Elaine?
I did.
Elaine has a
Alright.
motion on the
I
floor.
did speak to Doug about this before last week, expecting that I might have been late this morning, so I do know the situation and will second the motion.
Move to second. Have a vote on this refund for Levi D. Martin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Okay.
So, I guess you just work it out and you'll get
Yeah,
carried
well,
out.
I'll have to change the bill and then I can just mail you a check if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. All right. Thanks a lot.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. Excuse me. My second one is for American Innovative Minerals. They had a mining claim up by Winston that they sold in 2013.
Is that the one you talked about here a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago? Or,
Yeah.
okay,
And I have a check in my office right now for the amount of this is a net proceed bill. And the only way you know it's a net proceed is because there's an N in the taxpayer ID, stands for net proceeds. I know that, you guys probably know that, this gentleman had no clue what it was. And like I say, he sold it in 2013. Excuse my voice, this is a 2014 bill, so when he got it, he just assumed it belonged to the new owner, so he mailed the bill to him. Well, they mailed it back, they called the state, found out it was net proceeds, mailed it back to him, they said, no, this is your bill. And by the time he got it back from him, his taxes were late. Net proceeds, the way they're billed is they have to wait until their year's over and send in what they've made for the year, what they've done for the year. And so their 2013 would be billed in 2014. And he has no problem with paying the net proceeds, he's just asking that we would forgive him, and I think it amounts to about $170 in interest. So,
Well, it isn't like he was trying to sidestep it.
right, yeah, he's not trying to, he's not saying the bill's not mine. I mean, if he decided, hey, I'm not gonna pay that and walked away, I don't know what kind of recourse you'd have. I mean, he's being upfront and honest with us, and you know, he's paying $6,300 in net proceeds. I don't see why we couldn't forgive the interest, but that's, sometimes I'm soft-hearted.
This subject seemed pretty straightforward when you brought it up to us last week. The only reason we really couldn't vote on it then is it needed to be clearly stated on the agenda what we'd be doing. So I don't see anything here other than to motion that we go ahead and waive the penalty and interest.
I agree. Second.
okay. Move the second, would be the interest to, whoever this person is with this. What is the name on
American Innovative
Oh,
Universe.
it? And, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Pass, and then you just take care of it and work with him on it.
Yep, all right, yeah, I've got the money to pay the bill. I'll just call him and let him know that the
Interest is waived.
penalty and interest has been waived, and it'll be done.
Great.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
I apologize for being late. I don't know if anything was stated before, but I was testifying on behalf of Border Crime Control this morning, and it just went a little bit longer than we thought it would.
How did it go?
I think it went okay. It was pretty grueling. They had a lot of questions, so it was a good educational opportunity. And our new executive director has been with the board now for 5 days, and she did great. She did really, really well.
I'd say that's baptism by fire.
No kidding, yeah.
Was there a lot of people?
There was a good number, yeah.
Was it from the judiciary?
Yes, it's the beginnings of House Bill 2. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, House Judiciary.
It really is the beginning. House Bill 2.
Yeah, and we were the first.
Really?
So it was the very beginning.
That's not that bad.
No. No. That's what we kind of got to.
Nothing else. Now, 130, this resolution decision, which we don't have, so that's still tabled then.
Oh, what happened?
You don't have copies of
No
it.
copies of the resolution.
Oh, they're in your files. The chairman files. You just need to bring those with you.
Well, I didn't get them, I didn't know anything about them, so.
Well, they're the ones we've always had at these commission meetings that were brought by Natalie when you first started, and then by me as chairman by Elaine when she was chairman. You just need to bring them up to the meeting. They have them in there, as well as some additional mail.
So maybe during the noon hour you could grab them.
And then we can just
And
catch up.
still go ahead and do
Mhm.
this, okay?
So was there no public hearing?
No, because we didn't have resolutions.
No. Oh, yeah, you need to bring those.
And we were discussing part-time assistant down there. I don't know that we need 20 hours a week, but I don't know that we don't.